Honor, respect, and devotion to duty are the Coast Guard core values. So those are 3 things that from day one they instill into the cadets.
You're really working inside a family, and that family operates on trust.
We work together to lead each other, to motivate ourselves, and everyone has a purpose and a job to do, and if you do it, you'll succeed.
Everyone has the will to win. The difference is who has the will to work to win.
I know I have to challenge myself. I don't think I'd be happy if I just cop out and go the easy way. That's part of why I'm here.
Okay.
Was that good?
You have to have escapes and things that remind you of who you are individually, as well as being the military aspect and being what the Coast Guard wants you to be.
I'm the varsity coxswain for the men's crew team here. So waking up really early and being really cold all the time seem to be the 2 common themes to that.
Soccer, I have kept up playing here. I just joined the club soccer team. We do have a physical fitness exam that we have to pass. So that's one thing that it's good for. I have to get my sports credit, and then just to go get that workout in actually gives you more energy.
At the end of the day, it's how well I can work with the other 8 guys in my boat. And I think that's what really makes this place sometimes, is when you're having a bad day, being able to go down to practice and hang out and work together with your friends to do something bigger than yourself.
There's the academics, there's the athletics, and there is the military. At Ohio State, it might be the hardest part of your day. And I will say that football here may be the easiest part of the day, and we have as hard a practice as anybody in the country. It's a tough, demanding place.
I wake up at 6 a.m. every day. I have mandatory breakfast at 6:20. I have classes that I'm required to attend from 8 until 4 p.m. And then I do a sport, which is a release. After that, I have dinner, and I might have an evening training. And then I can start homework and do my homework and then go to bed and wake up and do it all over the next day.
I average 3 to 5 hours of sleep a night. I'm an electrical engineer. We get a lot of work. It's just something you learn to live with.
Oh, it comes from.
You came to start. So that's what
I thought you meant when we were
We
already.
teach Nautical Science 3, which is it's part of the core curriculum. So every student here at the Academy takes Nautical Science. They have to already know how to, for instance, figure out where the ship is at on a chart. To know that the fact that if it's raining or if it's really foggy, your radar is going to have to be tuned differently. It's a difficult thing when you're out there trying to keep the ship safe, and multitasking is huge. And we're harping on them to listen to radio conversations and make sure they're not missing what they need to pay attention to.
down and just follow them.
Alright, multi-course is starboard.
Yeah.
Vessel on northeast course 034 degrees true on Block Island at a speed of 4 knots. This is Coast Guard Commander Yeaton.
Yeah, Roger, thanks for the call.
Part of it is how to manage people and make sure that the person who's supposed to be looking at the chart is just looking at the chart. How the person looking at the radar is just looking at the radar.
What did he say? Keep listening.
That's one of the things that they get assessed on and get graded on is their ability to do their job that they focus on, but yet report it out so everyone's aware of the big picture. So my job is to put them in scenarios to get them to that point where they're taking classroom material and the knowledge, and then they're putting it into practice. Trash your boards and then come on into the instructor station. We'll do a joint debrief.
I think we all messed up pretty bad.
You all right?
Yeah.
You all good?
I was like you. What?
Especially you.
I was kind of freaking out a little bit.
Okay, so a nice, clear, concise, bold move, right? Granted, he should have been watching his radar too. Right? You can't trust everybody to do it. Okay? Right? If you see something on the radar, acquire it and make sure that it's nothing, as opposed to just assuming that it's nothing. Does that make sense?
Balancing it all out is definitely a difficult task. It takes a lot of time management and prioritizing.
Rudder eye, rudder is right 30 degrees.
Hey Sam, you can tell these guys, but we're gonna come in as if we're mooring on starboard side, they're on a cast port.
They give up portions of their life. They give up chunks of things they could be doing. So they give up much more than you or I give up, or the average person.
What you sacrifice to be part of the Academy community is external trappings. So not being able to wear civilian clothing within the 75-mile radius for the first 2 years.
As a female, I would say it's kind of hard in uniform to make yourself like looked at as like attractive. So like the guys, you know, guys look great in uniforms, but you know, if you're a girl, you've got your hair up in a bun and like. In the military, you can't really be friends with supervisors. It's like that professional boundary. So that's what the freshman year is modeling. They have policies like taking out the upperclassmen's trash every morning. They're not allowed to look at their food when they eat. So they have to look straight ahead, and they have to be braced up with their arms at their sides, and they have to like eat like this. Every time an upperclassman comes into their room or they go into an upperclassman's room, they have to stay braced up, which is basically at attention, you know, looking straight ahead of you. And you have to address everyone as sir, ma'am, last names, Mr., Miss. You don't want to hold something in your right hand, because if you're caught with something in your right hand, that's the hand you're supposed to salute with. You're not supposed to be chewing, eating, or drinking and outside in uniform.
A lot of what I did 4th class year I thought was incredibly stupid. I don't think I ever really want to go out onto the parade field every Friday afternoon in the hot sun wearing an all-black uniform and march around for an hour. But we go out and do it anyway. It's part of building that discipline to contain your emotions and be able to act professional to make sure that you're able to do your job out in the fleet.
You're not really going to have time to think. It's either going to be like, we have to do this now, or, you know, this mission might fail. This person may die.
The 2011 tsunami and earthquake that happened in Japan. I was out there with the relief effort for that. We would ID boats that got washed out and would go and get them towed back in. Really the big thing that hit me was watching kids' toys, sleeping bags, houses, carpets, beds, mattresses, pillows, just floating on its own out in the middle of the ocean. And watch a whole roof go by, you know, like this house just got washed away and the roof was just floating. Cars, boats, yeah, everything. It was pretty rough. And there's other things like seeing the most ridiculously beautiful sunsets and sunrises, and if it's perfectly clear, I mean, you can see more stars than I've ever seen before. And you know, being up north, seeing the northern lights, just completely pure, and the sights that I get to see of being out in the ocean are fantastic. So I've always loved my job since I started.
You don't just graduate after 4 years and go your separate way. You are tied into an organization. Some people are tied into that organization, many people, for their whole life.
Yeah,
we
that's
did a
not
30-year reunion.
Well, we did one 5 years ago.
Oh yeah, 5 years ago. How do we remember? We're old guys.
All right, hats on. Hats on. Hats off. Hats off. Numbers showing.
You know what's great is that this year we probably have close to 40 people that have come back from that team or were part of it.
Hey, wait a minute. Peter.
And the camaraderie and the closeness that we had, it just grew over the years.
The 63 team is one of the legendary teams of the Academy. They won the championship. They went to a bowl game against Western Kentucky, a big Division I school. And they kind of set the bar for saying, how can you go through an undefeated season?
They scored, and we almost scored.
If you're prepared, you might get nervous, but you know you have to execute. You know you have to go do something, and you just end up doing it. And those that are good do it. Those that aren't, don't. That's all there is to it.
That's one of the reasons we made it into the academy with that kind of attitude. They used to have what they called infantry dress Zulu, which was one item of everything, every item of clothing, and so with your bathrobe on the end of it, so you were like a Pillsbury doughboy out there, and they turned the heat up, and you would run around with your rifles and everything else, and I mean it was brutal. They wanted you to have gone through the mill.
You got to be prepared for all kinds of unusual things, difficult things. You're going into danger, going into trouble. So my guys were out there in the bunker with M16s, and you never know. We made it. I'm here.
I've worked in big law firms, and the lessons I learned at the Coast Guard Academy about leadership and building a team and forming, I mean, I was head and shoulders above some of the other people.
In some respects, it's very familiar, but a lot of things have changed. There were no ladies here when we came through, so that was a big change. And the kids are probably smarter. I don't know. They're very sharp these days.
And we heard Slipknot.
Because you had them on AIS?
Yes,
Is that right?
that's
So
how
those contact is monitoring 2 different frequencies.
My teachers are some of my biggest mentors here, and I think it's because I can go and talk to them anytime. It's very, very open.
If I were to quit, I'd probably be really letting myself down because I know I'm smart enough and talented enough to like push through it.
I always wanted to do something that helped others or helped the greater good, rather than something that was necessarily going to make me a lot of money or a lot of fame or fortune. I'd rather do something to better other people's lives.
The mission of the Academy is to graduate leaders of character, honest people, well-rounded, honorable both to themselves and to the country.
It's kind of what we're all aspiring to be, is to be upper-end officers. They're definitely role models in that sense, and it's a goal to attain to be that person. Coming back and getting your 50th year reunion medallion, something to look forward to.
He was a little thinner there.
This is her real hair.
That was my dream. Why didn't God give it to me 50 years ago?
Steve.
Oh, yeah,
Steve and Linda.
How are you? Good to see you.
I finally said hi to Tom McCarthy. I mean, he's been over there.
I know. It's amazing.
And then Kucharski, I finally said hi to him.
These guys were classmates of three of them, classmates of Bob Montgomery, who was the one that just passed away.
There's a few that are watching down on us from heaven or wherever they went after leaving Earth and sharing with us every minute, every second, every laugh, every tear. And it's sad that they didn't make it here, but maybe the next time we gather, more people who are still living will come, share the story, share the BS, share some lies, share some laugh, share a drink, just share a hug.